And then the other stories at girls' camp that I heard, the biggest one was the skinny man, and it was like this man who, like, we never got the full backstory because they kind of tried to avoid having them tell us scary stories, but he could hide between these like skinny trees because we slept on an island, and the main reason I think that they had these stories was to keep campers from like getting out of their beds at night, and so they would say, like, you know, if you're walking alone at night on this like skinny part of the island, the skinny man can like get you because you can't see him behind the trees. So I think those are my major campfire stories.
Cool. And where were those two camps?
So those were both in northern Wisconsin.
And
yeah.
And how many weeks did you go, or days did you go to those two camps?
I would go for family camp. It was a week every summer with my family, and then for girls camp, it started off as like a month, and then when I was older, I would go for the full 7 weeks.
And so, who told those two stories to you?
So I think in like at the family camp, it was always counselors, and it was like this big ordeal where like they would tell the story, and they had all of their things that they would do during the story, and that is still told by counselors to campers.
Is it like around a campfire or something? Or?
Yeah, when I was told it, it was around a campfire. I think generally it is like around a campfire. Sometimes in the cabin, but mainly like in a bigger event where there are multiple like groups of campers, and there's like one person who's telling the story, and then you have the one person who's running to with the lantern. And then at girls camp, it was not like really allowed anymore, and so it was more of like a smaller group, like maybe one counselor or counselor in training would tell campers, and then it would sort of like spread from there.
And what were the names of those two camps?
Clearwater Camp for girls and Camp Highlands.
Great. Do you know where the stories originated from?
I think the Camp Highlands one, I don't know where, but I think it is like very native to that area. Like I think it probably started, that camp started in 1904, and so I think the story of Magnus Biddy started, you know, around that area. I'm not sure. I think that like you can find people with that name in the cemetery, and so I think there are like some roots that make it from that area, but I'm not sure how long it's been around. A long time though.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And so you think the story's been passed down, or do you think it was made up?
I think that probably something happened to start the story, and then from there it was built up into this bigger event that, you know, they could sort of have be a shared experience between people who went to the camp, and sort of have it be a fun legacy thing.
Do you think that you'll tell the story to others one day?
I don't think I would tell, well, I mean, I might tell people the Magnus Biddy story, yeah, because it's like a very interesting tradition that they have, and I think I would definitely like have my kids go to the camp and like be fine with them hearing the story. I think it's like a very funny experience that like at the time was very scary, but like we still joke about Magnus Biddy. Like there's a Facebook page for her now. It's like a really big thing with people who go to this camp.
Family camp?
Yeah. And who like attend the normal camp too. Like it's a totally, because it's normally a boys camp, and so it's like
really?
all of those campers have heard the story, and so as scary as it is the first time, it becomes this like, oh, you know, like Magnus Biddy sort of thing.
And so do you guys still go to the camp, the family camp?
Yeah, so I now work at the camp with my brother,
cool.
and so we both work there, and then my family comes up for family camp.
Great. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.